Hello, my name is Marcus Bronzy.
And my name is Kay Kurd.
This is Ain't Got a Clue.
This is a podcast where we answer quiz questions in a fun and entertaining way. So you don't go through hours and hours of listening to a podcast and not building up your knowledge. Do you know what I mean? Like this way we make it fun and entertaining. So you're like, oh yeah, I remember that because there was this funny thing that happened on the pod.
Yeah, and it's pretty simple. We start off with a quiz question. Kay, how many time zones does Russia have?
I ain't got a clue, bro.
The answer is 11. And I'm going to help you remember.
Shit! 11 time zones.
So to help you remember that Russia has 11 time zones, I'm going to go through a number of facts about Russia. But before we get into that, let's talk about how Russia even got there, right? A bit more about Russia. Russia's got 11 time zones and the world is divided into 24 time zones, Kay. Russia covers 11 of those.
One for every hour. Yeah, is that what it's based on?
Yeah, there's 24 time zones for every hour, and then 11 of those is owned by Russia, basically.
They're not owned by it.
That's not really Russian. We own it.
They're not owned by it.
Yeah, they actually own that. 1/9 of the world's landmass is Russia's size. Russia stretches from Kaliningrad, which is next to Poland, 5,000 miles to the eastern tip of Chukotka across the Bering Strait of Alaska. By contrast, it's nearly 2,700 miles across 4 time zones of the 48 contiguous states in the US. Basically, Russia is big, like you said. So when it's
huge.
It's huge, bruv. And they've got 11 of these time zones. So basically, when it's 9 a.m. in Moscow, Western Russia time, it's already 6 p.m. in the farthest part of Russia's Far East.
Is that why in like Rocky 4, it was light where Rocky was and it was dark where Ivan Drago was?
Yeah, that's exactly why. Every time there's bro, are you trying to say that Rocky is linked to everything that's gone on in this universe?
I reckon
another Rocky tie-in.
Do you know Sylvester Stallone is in a boxing Hall of Fame?
No way.
Yeah.
He's made a fictional character made it into the
Stallone has made it, not Rocky.
Really? Stallone's made it into
Yeah.
Did he do a lot for boxing with Rocky then?
Yeah.
Right, so they've got more time zones than any other country in the world. Like I said, when the east of Russia is in the middle of the working day, the western regions are still fast asleep, right? So how did we get there? How did we end up with 11 time zones in Russia? Well,
hold on, that's an 11-hour difference.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it?
Like in America, when you see like, and it's going to be at 3 o'clock Eastern time, you're thinking... All right, so Western time, I don't know what
Western is 4 hours.
Standard time, innit? Or Central, I don't know. But anyway.
East Coast, West Coast is how I do it, but it's like there's 4 hours difference if you go from like LA to New York, I believe.
Wow.
There's 11 hours here. Right, so 150 years ago, the world had no time zones at all, okay? Everyone had their own local time. It was basically midday when the sun was at the highest point in your town. That's how things were back in the day. So basically, if we were around in those times, you could be late and just be like, well, it was midday where I was, mate. Sorry about that. The rise of railroads meant that they needed to accurately synchronize with other localities because they couldn't just have a train setting off whenever it wanted to and arrive whenever it wanted to. And that was introduced over here in the UK. The US and Canada also took it on, and then in other countries. So in 1919, Russia was divided into 11 time zones where boundaries that went along railroads and rivers were where they kind of chopped it up into little pieces. But 11 time zones is a lot. So in 2009, Russia decided to reduce its number of time zones from 11 to 9. But then in 2014, they reversed the decision.
This is not... what is this? Everything was normal. We had 11 time zones. It was good. But for some reason, somebody come along, they change it. Hey, hoisky. It's not very... What was wrong with the old system?
I don't know.
The old system, there was nothing wrong with the old system. The old system worked. But somebody come along, say this system is not good. Typical imperialist attitude that they wanted to get rid of thing, mainstream, streamline, whatever you call it. It's a terrible decision. So I was very happy when it was reversed.
So Russia is stuck in the middle of wintertime. In 1917, Russia for the first time switched over to summertime, which was 1 hour ahead of their local solar time. But 4 years later, the idea of switching between summer and winter time, kind of like what we do here, British summertime, regular time, it was abandoned because from the research that I did, it was just basically too confusing. So you've got 11 time zones and they're all bumping and moving forwards and backwards.
So you like, just, oh God, it's
I'm looking at Kay's face as I say it. Kay's just looking at me like, what the fuck?
So you remember the days before iPhones?
Yep. Okay. I was around before iPhones. Yeah.
So
100%.
like you had to change the clocks in your house, like for British summertime and then Greenwich Mean Time or whatever, and it was just annoying, right? But thankfully to your iPhone, like with thanks to your iPhone, like I've got Apple Watch as well, so
Yeah.
my clocks are just set all the time, so I've got no issue, right? So imagine you're just you're just driving through the country like. You know I love this song, Vladimir. It's the best song. Walking away downtown, walking by, and I miss you. And I miss. Don't tell anybody I listen to American song. Anyway, wow, it's 5 o'clock. I thought it was 5 o'clock an hour ago. Wow, it's 5 o'clock. We have got through this thing in 10 minutes. 3 cities in 10 minutes.
Bruv, don't you think though, if somebody really wanted to fuck with the whole world, a set of hackers could sit down and be like, I've got the perfect hack for you, Kay. This is gonna ruin the world.
What is it? What is this hack?
This hack is we're gonna hack all iPhones at 12 o'clock midnight. Instead of switching over to summertime, they're gonna stay in regular winter time.
What does this mean?
It means...
What does this mean?
Well, actually, it means if you do it to everyone, nothing's going to happen, innit?
Yeah.
What would happen if they did fuck around with phones? No one would even notice, would they? Would you wake up and be like, oh, my phone, it's not
It seems a
flipped
bit
over?
darker.
Yeah.
Why is it so dark? I get up every day at 7 o'clock. I don't know why. Yesterday it was all right. Today it's just dark. What's happening?
Don't you find it funny though that it's called Greenwich Mean Time? Like when you go to Greenwich, you are like, this is where time begins.
Yeah, you always want to see a force field.
Concept of time is birthed within this very location. And if you look closely, there is a line that clearly distinguishes where Greenwich Mean Time originates. How do you understand the significance of this? Do you understand how amazing it is to be part of a country that just invented the mere concept of timekeeping? Do you understand that? Rule Britannia. Britannia rules the waves indeed. And do you know what else we rule? We also bloody rule people's watches and clocks. That's what we bloody well rule. GMT. Greenwich Mean Time. The wonderful borough of Greenwich. Have you ever been to Greenwich? Do you understand the enormity of what I'm saying? We have an observatory in Greenwich. At the birthplace of time, you can also think about interplanetary beings. That is how amazing Greenwich is.
So in 1930, the clocks moved forward an hour to what was called decree time. In 1950, the Soviet Union lived by that time until it was
The
decided...
what time?
Decree time.
Oh, I thought you said the Creed time. I was like, Apollo Creed died in Rocky IV from Ivan Drago. And I was like, wow, that's a nice tribute to call it Creed time. Why are we naming it Creed time after this bastard? He died, he's shit.
You don't even really box.
But decreed.
Yes, decreed time. For 50 years, the Soviet Union lived by that time until it was decided again in 1981 to start switching summertime backwards and forwards. So in 2011, Russians said they had enough of this. They found it too difficult to adapt to changing the clocks twice a year. Can you imagine? This is the same time whilst they're trying to reduce their time zones as well. So as a result, some people in their regions ended up with a time that was an hour or sometimes 2 hours ahead of their geographical time.
But
time was fucked up.
If this doesn't show you that time is just a concept.
The government were bombarded with complaints from people who were unable to function normally because they said there was an extra long and dark Russian winter. Finally, in 2014, the government ruled that clocks would go back an hour and remain there because it was just all fucked up, basically. So Russia has permanently been living in wintertime.
What? I thought Uber Eats was open. Why is closed? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
My brother lived in St. Petersburg and he said, right, he liked living there. Yeah?
What was it like?
It was nice, yeah. But he said the one thing that annoyed him was the lack of food options.
What was there to eat?
Like, food was shit. Like, the only thing that was decent was McD's.
What?
Like, takeaways in that.
What was like a Russian McDonald's? Is it like a...
No, Russian McDonald's, Big Mac is a Big Mac, innit? Okay. But I feel like He was saying like other takeaway options were just like you can't get an Indian.
Nah.
Do you know what I mean? You can't get like jerk chicken.
What?
Do you know what I mean? No, but just think about it. There's like so much that you just can't get.
Did he tell you what a Russian meal was? Like, I'm curious. I don't know what like Russian
I don't
cuisine
know.
is.
He didn't tell me. I didn't ask. I think, but it's just proper. Do you know? I imagine it's just like proper like bland potatoes.
Meat and
stuff.
potatoes.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like it's a meat and
Yeah.
potatoes country. innit?
Protein, carbohydrate.
Everything you need.
Everything you need is just this good meal. This is good
Yeah.
Soviet meal. But he would end up just eating McDonald's and stuff when he wanted a takeaway because that was the only thing that was familiar. But just imagine that. Like, we are so blessed. This is why multiculturalism is good in a sense because you can get like any fucking food you want. Like, do they have a Chinatown in Russia?
I don't know.
That might be like, because there's a Chinatown everywhere.
There's got to be a Chinatown and there's got to be like an Irish pub in Russia somewhere.
there isn't,
has to be.
If there isn't, we know that, you know, it's not a worthy holiday.
It's not a real place. It's not. It's not. There's not an O'Neill's. It's not a worthy holiday place.
There's O'Neill's in Dubai. That's like the most hilarious.
Really?
Yeah. I was walking down JBR and I was like, what the hell? There's an O'Neill's here. This is crazy.
That's how you know you made it. If you live in an
it
area, if
might
you've
be-
got an Irish
it was
pub,
probably-
you know you made
It was
it.
probably O'Brien's or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. Like, you know, like it was an Irish pub, innit?
You know it, man. So yeah, I spoke to a lot of people this week and I was like, what comes to your mind when I say Russia?
They said Ivan Drago.
A lot of people say vodka, or maybe Putin
Vodka.
riding a horse topless, or bears on the streets. I don't know, but here's some facts about Russia. Russia's cats have jobs. Not all of them. In the Hermitage Museum, it's a national treasure of Russia. Cats are the treasure of the Hermitage. The clouder of cats, called the Hermitage cats, that's what you call a group of cats, are guardians that protect priceless works of art from rats that are valued by the whole staff. Each cat has a personal passport, a photo, and even receives regular income from friends of the Hermitage cats. Right? Kay's looking at me like I'm an absolute nutter. The museum has a press secretary dedicated to the cats, and the cats act as caretakers, and these cats live in the museum's basement. Apparently there's even kitchens for preparing their food.
You see how strong that old Soviet. What we see here is there's been a continuation of the former Soviet mindset of you know, workers all working for the state, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And what you see, this is actually transcended beyond humans, and now we're seeing the feline kingdom, actually getting involved, you know, and just working within the workplace in order to create a better Russia. I personally think, you know, it's something we can definitely adopt in this country. I think, for example, the felines in this country are very spoiled. And I will say that because when was the last time you saw a feline, you know, just roaming the streets with somebody that was perhaps on benefits?
Yes.
I mean, felines in this country, I feel like akin themselves to the royal family. I think they do believe they are descendants of the monarchy, and they therefore realize. I mean, in fact, we have a cat that is at Downing Street whose sole purpose is to just be a cat at Downing Street. I mean, work for your keep. Well, it's all very well eating Sheba every day, but what are you doing? And here I see this Russian resolve. Yeah, not merely one cat, but a hermitage of cats. A clouder of cats. Just gallivanting around this sacred museum.
It got me thinking though, cats don't really have jobs, do they, at all?
Cats are dickheads, brother. I'll say this right now. Cats are dickheads.
Really? I think they think we're dickheads.
No,
Yeah, go on.
cats are full dickheads.
Go on.
So your dog, yeah? Like, and this has been an observation that's been touted like many a time, but like, dogs are so loyal. You see dogs of homeless people. You see dogs everywhere. Dogs like on their owner's grave, like waiting for their owner to come back. Like they're just sad. Cats are like, well, I feel that we've come to the end of the road, young man.
Yes.
Toodaloo, and find somewhere else. Like a cat chooses people. People don't choose cats.
I think cats look at us and they're like, look at these heathens running around for me. My dinner time's at 6. It's 6:01.
I saw a great quote that said, and I think I've mentioned it on the pod before, but I saw a great quote that said, cats look at humans and go, these people feed me, they wash me, they bathe me, they provide me with sanctuary.
I must be God.
I am. I'm good.
Whereas dogs think, wow, these people clothe me, they feed me, they provide me with sanctuary. They must be God.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like that's a difference in mindset.
That's why I love watching cats trip up a little bit, not fall over and hurt themselves. But you ever seen a cat fall over and then they drop and they go? Did anyone see me? And it's like I look at them and go, ha ha, dickhead.
I saw one TikTok yesterday that made me laugh. It was cats sat on glass tables. And they just look so cute from underneath the table.
Really?
Yeah, their paws just like, but the cat, the cat was probably thinking, oh, this is rather novel. A glass table. I think I'll just sit here.
Yeah, so I'm just going to lick my balls. So yeah, apparently they have their own little hospital in there. I was unable to confirm this though. Russia's dogs though, they're not stupid, Kate.
Well,
their dogs can navigate.
I personally would never call a dog stupid.
Well, some pets are a little bit silly. But Russia's stray dogs can navigate the metro. To survive the harsh winters, because it's very cold in Russia, Moscow's dogs have had to develop street smarts. All right? If you ever take the underground in Moscow, you might spot one of its clever dogs hopping on a train for a few stops and hopping off again. That is fucking smart, bruv.
Bro.
I'm impressed.
I still have trouble sometimes on the tube. What color line is that? No, I'm joking. I don't have trouble with it, but like as a kid, you probably found it all confusing.
All right, you're joking. I genuinely still find some tube stations hard to negotiate. It's the Circle and District.
Being in the actual tube stations themselves.
Oh man.
Oh my God, when you go into the Bakerloo line, I'm expecting a shoeshine boy to still exist there. I'm expecting ghosts to be walking around like, hello,
Sherlock Holmes solving a crime.
Bro, the Bakerloo line, right? Even when you go on the trains, it's like they haven't been updated in years and years. And it's like, have you ever smacked one of the seats?
Go on, Kay, please describe to the listener about this.
The amount of dust that comes up from it, right? It is like, wow, like people actually rode on these trains in the 60s and 70s. They must have done because those trains haven't been updated.
You were sitting on 60-year-old farts. That's what you're sitting on.
And it's so funny when you see there'll be 3 old ones and then one of them's been replaced with new. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, oh, there's new fabric on this one. And so you sit on that one. But generally, I don't know. That's a great question actually. But I think after the pandemic, I don't know whether I'm going to sit down on tubes.
I don't know if I ever really want to ever have to take. I think I'm going to walk. I think if it's like a 3-hour walk or half an hour tube, I'll be like, better get the walking shoes on, boy. Because, boy.
Yeah, I think people should become much more open to the idea of people turning up to meetings in workout gear.
Or cycle shorts.
Like, I walk to this motherfucker.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
100%.
Do you think in a post-pandemic world, I'm going to be taking these disease tubes? These tubes of disease to come to your workplace? Nah, motherfucker, I'm a walk like I was taught. During lockdown, I learned how to. Oh my gosh, hold on.
I was gonna say, welcome to this interview, Kay. I just want to say thanks for letting us know a little bit about yourself.
Do you know the again, we're going back to an iPhone, right?
Sorry.
You know, an iPhone, it's got a walking asymmetry measurement, so it tells you whether you're walking, how good your walking is.
No, really?
Yeah,
where is this setting? I need to do this.
It's somewhere in the health app, right? It talks about your walking asymmetry. So if it's 0, it's great because it means you're symmetrical. You're taking equal strides on both feet, on both legs, whatever.
That is sick.
So yeah, if you're going from one time zone to another when you're walking through them.
So if I have one of those old school bops, when I thought I was cool back in the day, then my asymmetry would be a 45.
It'll be off.
That's hilarious. Right, anyway, so the dogs, super smart dogs, they've even learned how to identify metro stops with the Tannoy announcements.
Mind the gap. Mind the gap.
Oh, this has got to be. This is Victoria Line.
So they've also befriended security guards.
Can you imagine the dog somebody going, hey, where are we meant to go? You want to take a left? What do you want? Oh, you want to get your books in?
What you want to do is get on the Jubilee line to Green Park, change at Green Park to Victoria line, and then go all the way down to Brixton, and that's fine.
Bruv, they've also made friends with security guards as well. So they've made mates there, and at St. Petersburg, like St. Petersburg cats, they also keep the rat population down. I don't think they eat them. I think they just scare them away. Russia has its own mafia gang wars. The infamous Yurlmash gang was founded in the late 1980s, a Russian mafia syndicate that were based in the city of Yekaterinburg.
They initially began controlling small business, but quickly rose to power as the dissolution of the USSR led to widespread instability. Their main rival was the Central Gang. Their beef was so intense that they would have separate cemeteries for members of their gangs killed during gang wars. You can now visit the resting places of once infamous mafia members whose gravestones are engraved with hyper-realistic images emblazoned with their defining qualities. One as an expert in knife throwing, while another possessed deadly fist-fighting skills. This was the first time we saw Ivan Drago in his cemetery.
So is this the Ivan from Rocky, Kay?
This is Ivan Drago from Rocky. He was emblazoned with deadly fist-fighting skills on his cemetery tombstone.
So yeah, that was it. Can you imagine that though? You've got gang wars going on. So their main rival gang was the Central Gang. You've got gang wars going on, and people would have separate cemeteries for their gang members. But you'd make sure that you'd make their special skills look extra hype and scary. So if anybody would happen to hear about the people in your gang,
So it's essentially like a human Pokemon card on their gravestone.
yeah, basically. What would your superpower be then?
His skills was making people laugh.
Mine would be like, could eat his own body weight in ice cream.
No, it would be like, he created great podcasts.
Yes.
Just be you with like, behind a MacBook. Behind the Mac was first, this campaign was first designed here when Marcos died. On his tombstone, he was behind the Mac. Somebody from Apple saw this and said, wow. He is behind the Mac, and his superpower was podcasting.
Some Russians play golf with helicopters.
That's a rich man's sport.
Yep. In Moscow's... Okay, straight away is like, that's money talking around there, boy.
That is wildly rich. Bro.
Yeah, in Moscow's suburbs, you can participate in curious and unique sport, which is helicopter golf. The idea of the game is close to traditional golf, K, although the scale is much bigger. What you do is you guide a 1 meter, 3 foot in diameter ball through a snowy route using a 10 kilogram stick, all whilst the players are driving the helicopter. So there's an actual stick hanging off the bottom of your helicopter. I'm going to let Kay watch a video just so we can take it and he can describe what he is seeing right here.
Oh, so there's like a massive, like, kind of like hammer
On the bottom of the helicopter.
on the bottom of the helicopter, and they're trying to like dash some ball in the snow. So this is, imagine imagine croquet, but with like imagine croquet, but with a helicopter.
chopper,
Yeah.
What a rich man sport this is.
I need a plane ticket and accommodation to just merely be in the vicinity of where this sport can be played, right?
Yeah.
And even if you go, well, no, you don't need to go to that. You could go to the Milton Keynes
Fake ski slope. Brother, I don't live in Milton Keynes, so I still need to get some sort of transport to get me to Milton Keynes in order to go on these fake ski slopes.
So you think about it, for helicopter golf, you also need a helicopter as well.
I need a helicopter, maybe helicopter rentals as well. Fuel.
Yeah.
Also, I need a license and lessons.
And somebody has to create a golf course for you for your helicopter. That's not going to be cheap.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine?
So I need
Crazy.
space and land now as well.
The coldest inhabited town on Earth is in Russia. The town of Omayakon in the Yakutia region in Siberia is considered to be one of the coldest inhabited towns on Earth. The coldest temperature in 1938 was minus 77 degrees centigrade. That's minus 108 Fahrenheit. The average temperature in December and January is not much warmer at minus 50K.
That's all right. Been in a cryotherapy chamber.
How cold is it
minus,
there?
minus 125.
Really?
Yeah.
Your nipples don't just fall off?
But you're in there for like 3 minutes, so like topless, and you've only got like underwear on. So I believe
Your
that
balls must go right inside you and out
they
your
do.
mouth.
You become a eunuch for
Yeah.
like 3 minutes.
I'll be like, oh, great, 3 minutes was lovely. Thank you very much.
When people go, do you not want to visit the whole world? No, not the whole world, if I'm being honest with you.
This is one that's not on the
when
list.
people go, I want to travel the world, I'll be honest with you, there are some places that are not seeing me. I will be like, I don't think China's ever seeing me.
Okay, fair enough.
Just because, like, the only thing to see in China is that wall, innit?
That wall in it.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
And over here, just that clock in it.
I don't think I'd come to Britain if I wasn't from here. Like, can you think about it? Like,
What have you
like when I went to Washington DC, right? And they were like, "This is the White House, and this is like the Lincoln Memorial." Whatever. I was just like, "Yeah, but I could have Googled this."
So but don't you find it fascinating when people come over here and they're like,
People are like, "Well, this was the place where the speech of la 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 was," and I'm like, "Yeah, cool, but like." It's not happening now, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like when people go, I am going to go to the Louvre in France in order to be able to catch a glimpse of the Mona Lisa. I'm like,
a lot smaller in real life, isn't it?
yeah, but it genuinely doesn't interest me. Like, all right, cool, I've seen it. All right, now what? Now what?
But you got to look at her and think like, is
There
she
are
smiling?
like, all right,
Is she
you'll
smiling?
probably look at it for about maximum 10 minutes. You're not looking at that for more, like at a stretch, 10 minutes. That's
And
what
then
I'm
go
saying.
home.
And then like you've got like 24 hours in France. So okay, you've got 23 hours and 50 minutes left in France.
Eiffel Tower's pretty cool to look at for a few minutes. I
But
like
if
that,
you've
yeah.
been to Crystal Palace, you've seen the like
Or Blackpool. It's a Blackpool
yeah,
Tower.
but if you've been to like Crystal Palace, they've got like this tower that's
Yeah.
sort of like Crystal Palace, but it's got like loads of satellites on it. You look at that, it's
Slightly
the
less
same
romantic.
Sort of thing. Same sort of thing.
Do you know what? Actually, I'd say more romantic, actually.
Yeah, 'cause
more romantic.
there's more greenery.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
park.
And do you know what? Everyone's going to France, taking their missus to Paris, yeah?
And you can
but
see-
you've done something original. You've gone to Crystal Palace.
Crystal Paris, there we go, mate.
Crystal Paris, mate.
Crystal Paris,
Crystal
bruv.
Paris, got down on one knee, put a frigging onion ring over her finger and said, I own ya. There you go,
But
romantic.
this is it. I don't think like for me, like yeah, and exactly like so China, just that wall in it. Like when people go, oh yeah, but there's like Shanghai's beautiful and all that, whatever. Not really interested. And then Siberia, like a lot of Russia. I mean Moscow. I watched that. Look at that palace. The palace looks pretty cool. Looks like a
Kremlin.
Disney. Yeah, the Kremlin or whatever. Yeah. Look at that. I'd be like, oh, that's nice.
Case, you're working it
The
today.
Red Square in Moscow, innit?
Yeah,
Like,
that one, innit? Yeah. The largest McDonald's in the world opened in Russia 31 years ago. McDonald's opened its first restaurant in Russia 30 years ago on January the 31st, 1990, with 900 seats. It was the largest McDonald's in the world at that time. So that is very interesting that your brother said the only decent food out there,
Was McDonald's.
takeaway, was McDonald's. Can you imagine the conversation in Russia, though? We're going to make McDonald's. We're going to make it the biggest McDonald's.
Members of the old Politburo from the Soviet were probably like kicking themselves like this is everything I did not want to happen to this
Yes.
country. Why have we got American capitalism? The symbol of American capitalism in our country.
Fuck this. Oh,
I actually like fries. And you
okay,
call
have you
this-
tried the double cheeseburger with extra pickle?
Wow, the Grand Big Mac.
The longest railway in the world is in Russia.
This is one of those things, yeah, where you see a BBC documentary where... Now, absolutely, the Trans-Siberian Railroad is the longest in the world. Its length, spanning across the whole 8 time zones, is 9,289 kilometers. Now, that, of course, in our measurements, is 5,772 miles. Now, to travel the whole railroad, you would need to speed around
a week in a train to do the journey, and it takes a total whopping 152 hours and 27 minutes to complete. Now I'm going to embark on it.
And Channel 4 will be like, shittest railway on earth.
Life and death on the railway.
The Siberian Railroad, Thursday night at 9 on 4.
And Netflix would just be like a murder mystery version of it, wouldn't it? That would be like a true crime.
Who was killed on the Trans-Siberian Railway? A new film starring Matthew McConaughey.
Tetris came from Russia. Although the game gained world popularity, the first edition of Tetris was made in 1984 by USSR programmer and scientist Alexei Pajitnov.
Do you know what's so funny? He was probably meant to like do something else, like make something else. Alexei, I need you to create a program that will improve the architecture and building materials for this country, for this great nation,
Yes.
till the end of time.
Okay.
And he just got mad bored and was like, I have taken your challenge and realized that, as the great Tupac would say, in about 9 years' time.
But yes.
In 9 years' time, the great Tupac would say, if I cannot influence the world, I may spark the mind that will.
Okay.
So this program that I've created, this game, will inspire the next generation to play with bricks, to create them in a certain fashion.
So you're saying this game you're going to show me will not make people stay inside and waste hours and hours playing it. Instead, it will teach them to build better wall.
Yes, and we will send to America first.
Right, women versus men. There are approximately 10 million more women in Russia than there are men. The imbalance was initially believed to be the result of loads of men dying in World War II. Great advertisement for Russian tourism. May the odds be in your favor. Go to Russia.
Come on, bro.
What?
Just do the outro, bro.
Well, that was...
Hurry up, man. Just do the outro, bro. Like, you just say it's for work reasons. I know it's COVID. Bro, they're going to let us, man. Come on, man. The Uber's outside. You hear it, bro. 10 million more women, bro.
How many time zones in Russia, Kay?
11, man. Hurry up.
All right, so that was this episode of Ain't Got a Clue. Don't forget to subscribe and tell a mate about us. You can find Kay on social media at KAEKURD, TikTok,
Hurry
Instagram,
up.
Facebook, Twitter, everything. And also, don't forget, if you want an extra episode of this, you can check out our Patreon, where every time we drop a free episode here, we also drop you a Patreon ad-free whole extra episode. So check that out, something like £1 a week, man. Also, check me out on social media at Marcus Bronzy everywhere too. Kay is literally outside, so I've got to go now. But until next time, peace.
Get the Uber, man. Quick.